Who would have thought that he would spend 10 whole years to get to the Palace of the Night? System prompt domain of eternal darkness. Palace of Eternal Night. Last chapter of Despair. Event active for 6 hours, 54 minutes. An experienced player with level 180 stood in front of the Lord of Despair, and they both prepared to strike. The player said that when he kills him, he will receive a legendary reward. He saw that sparks were gathering in the dragon's mouth, and said that he had not even started. Yet, after which the dragon released a bright flame at him, and the system windows reported that the spike skill was being used, which deals a direct blow, causing 14,000 units of damage, reduces the enemy's defense by 20% for 5 seconds. The player jumped up and said it was his turn. He jumped on the dragon and plunged a dagger into its body. He said that the strongest boss is nothing special. The system window reported that the Lord of Despair had entered a critical state. The player was surprised. He is already moving to the next phase. The dragon collected energy in its mouth, and the system window reported that the Lord of Despair had entered a berserk state. The player began to defend himself and thought that the boss had crazy damage. One careless move, and he would die instantly. The dragon shot sparks at him, and he asked, "Is he attacking again? Doesn't the dragon's breath really have a cooldown? Does he use it all the time? This is a good chance. He should take advantage of it." He used a ghost skill, which allows him to quickly move forward a certain distance, and the next attack deals 100% critical damage. He quickly circled around the dragon's body and thought that there were many grievances between him and the Lord of Despair. He used the decapitating storm skill, which creates a storm that deals 20,000 damage, and if the target's health is below 5%, it instantly kills the target. The player attacked and said that he would personally put an end to this. He dealt numerous blows to the dragon, and the system reported that the Lord of Despair was defeated. The system congratulates him on receiving the exclusive server achievement Death of the Lord. He receives the Seat of Despair reward. The quest will be closed in 60 seconds. A player named Wang Yin looked at the monitor in disbelief and said that he had finally done it. After 10 whole years of playing, he finally defeated the desperate overlord before the server closed. They even gave him an exclusive reward, but after the game server was closed, it was useless. Suddenly sparks started coming from the monitor, and he was surprised. What kind of light was that? He gets really exhausted playing this all night and seems to be hallucinating. A system prompt appeared on the monitor stating that the server would restart in 3 seconds. 3 seconds passed, and he asked, "Shouldn't the server have closed? Why is it restarting?" He looked outside and thought, what's going on? What he saw below surprised him greatly. There were cracks all over the ground, from which a bunch of red eyes peered out. Monsters came out of the ground, and people began to run away from them in panic. But the monsters easily killed them and began to create chaos. Wang Yin looked at it and said that these were monsters from a game. What's going on? Is this an illusion? Suddenly a system alert appeared in front of him, informing him that Eternal Darkness had successfully rebooted. A large energy explosion occurred on the street from which people and the monster were running away. The system window reported that data initialization has been completed. A huge monster emerged from a huge energy explosion. The system window reported that the system connection was successful. Wang Yin was surprised. Is this the Darkness Eternal game system? While he was standing at home, monsters were burning people alive. He asked, "Restart the game. Connect to reality." If the truth happened, his mom and dad. Suddenly a call came on his phone from his dad, and he asked, "Is it his dad calling?" Suddenly a goblin appeared outside the window, broke it, and broke into his apartment. The system window reported that this was a second-level goblin warrior. Wang Yin gritted his teeth and thought about his phone. Games are games, and reality is reality. Monsters should only remain in the game, right? They broke in and destroyed everything for no reason. It's unforgivable. Let them get out of here. He wanted to use a shadow skill, but the system window said that the skill was not activated, and he asked, "Are the skills not working?" Is he not level enough? The goblin attacked him, but he blocked the blow and thought that even though he couldn't use skills, he still had the basic characteristics of an assassin. And this means that the goblin is finished. They attacked each other, but Wang Yin was the first to strike and cut the goblin into pieces. The system window reported that he had received 10 units of experience. His level had been raised to level 2, and he had gained dagger mastery. Wang Yin looked at his knife and said that in the real world there are worse weapons. In order to survive, he needs to find something suitable. He looked outside and said that there was a monster that always dropped a novice assassin, armor needed for survival. But first of all, he needs to quickly find his mom and dad. The rules of this world may begin to change. The city was reduced to ruins, and among these ruins was a lone level 5 goblin scout. Suddenly, a sharp knife stuck into the goblin's head, and the system window informed Wang Yin that his level had been raised to 4. A new skill, cold poison, had been unlocked. He looked at the goblin's weapon and said, although it is a bad weapon, it is still better than a kitchen knife. He looked at his stats and said that his level up rate isn't that high right now. Suddenly, someone appeared behind him, and the system window reported that this was a level 8 troll. Scout. Wang Yin looked at the huge monster and said that killing it was only a matter of time, even with such a gap in levels. Suddenly, another monster appeared behind him, and he turned around. The system window reported that this was a level 10 elite troll. Wang Yin said that the scout and elite troll, the game master, overestimated him too much. Well, if they want to taste his bones, then they will have to be more powerful. The monsters immediately attacked him, and he said that he couldn't deal with 2 at the same time. He needed to kill them one by one. The troll raised his weapon over him, and Wang Yin said that now is the time. Cold poison is a skill that, after hitting a target, imposes a passive effect of losing blood on the enemy by 1% of health points per second for 10 seconds. This effect can stack up to 5 times. After the skill ends, the target's blood explodes. He pounced on the troll and dealt it 1 blow. Then he dealt another blow. He dodged the attack and struck a 3rd blow, then a 4th, after which he asked, are they not keeping up with him? He delivered the final 5th blow and told the monster to explode. A powerful energy wave passed from the troll, which threw Wang Yin away. He is among the rebel and said he underestimated the force of the explosion. With his current stamina, he is so weak that he cannot use the skill yet. The troll approached him, and he asked if he would really die from the clutches of a monster. He pulled himself together and said that he didn't want this. The system window reported that the seed of despair was activated. The Lord of Despair begins to appear, after which a dragon appeared in front of him, who told him that he was lucky to defeat him, and so he gives him his special gift. He will show him his true strength the next time they meet. The system reported that a new profession, Necromancer, had been opened. He received Ghost, Fire, the skill of controlling the dead, the special skill Judgment, the Undead Zone, and the Undead talent, Tear. Undead Zone creates a barrier surrounding the Necromancer within a radius of several meters. This controls the entire Undead Zone at the will of the Necromancer. This slowly restores health in the Undead Zone and also reduces the duration of enemy skills by half. He can use Control Dead for free. The system window reported that 2 souls were detected in the Undead Zone. He wants to awaken the souls and control them. Wang Yin agreed, and the system window reported that, with the help of the Undead talent, Tear, the Necromancer gives the undead a large damage bonus, and the attacks of the undead warriors open the enemy's wounds and apply the effect of severe injury. The Undead Zone is successfully controlled. He needs to choose a target for attack. He chose the troll, and the dead monsters attacked him. Blood sprayed from the troll's mouth, and Wang Yin said that this was a great opportunity. He stabbed the dagger into the troll's chest and told him to burn in hell, after which he pulled the dagger out of the monster's body and knocked it to the ground. He said that he had finally done it, after which the system window reported that the first kill of an elite enemy had been made. He received the title Pioneer. He received 100 experience, and his level increased to 10. As a reward, he receives 10 pieces of low-level products. He received a new skill, Ghost, and continuous strikes. He looked at the skeletons and the system window reported that souls had been detected that he could take control of. Did he want to activate the skill to control the dead? With the support of the dead skill, the Necromancer receives a 50% chance of exchanging the soul of an enemy he has killed for an undead warrior that he can control. He used to control the dead skill on the skeleton and asked, was it successful this time? He needs to learn a little about it first. The system window reported that the skill's duration had Expired, 0 seconds remained. Suddenly, he heard a noise from the side and saw a huge Cyclops peeking out from around the corner. He said that if he was caught by a level 20 Cyclops, he would be in big trouble, so it was time for him to escape from here. The system window reported that the hidden fire class of the Desperate Overlord can communicate with the dead. Those who awaken the fire can become Necromancers. With this class, he can summon powerful dead ones, and ghostly fire can also enhance the Necromancer's skills. He ran and thought, is this a hidden class? He had been playing for 10 years and had never heard of the Necromancer class before. The system window reported that he had killed 4 monsters he had collected for ghostly lights. He asked Ghostfire, it can summon undead warriors. This seems to conflict with his current class settings, but if he shows this ability to others, he will be feared, so he needs to hide it until he becomes stronger. The system window informed him that in order to unlock other skills, he needed a sufficient amount of phantom fire. To unlock the power of the dead, he needs 3 ghostly lights. Dominate the undead costs 3 ghost fires. Undead Zone and Undead Gate need 30 ghost fires, 10 ghost fires to use it. Undead Territory requires 1,000 ghost lights and 1,000 ghost lights to use. To awaken talents, you need 40,000 ghost lights and 1,000 to use. He said that the amount of ghost fire determines the limit of his power, which is unfortunate but logical. How much does he need to collect this ghostly fire? He threw that thought aside and said that he needed to go home first. Suddenly, from the side, he heard a child crying. A little girl stood in the middle of the street and cried loudly, looking for her mother. Wang Yen saw that a huge Cyclops was standing behind the girl and rushed forward asking where her parents were. The Cyclops attacked, but Wang Yen managed to save the girl in time and said that it was close. Cyclops must not understand that he did it. They are the dumbest of the race of giants. He forgot that the Cyclops is cannon fodder among the giants, but they also have their own survival abilities. The tracking eye continues to track the target until it dies. One-Eyed Hunter is a Cyclops tracking skill. With the help of the eye, the Cyclops attacks the strongest enemy within sight, chases him and kills him. He begins to strike until the target dies. He handed the girl to man and said that he was leaving her to him. Let them leave quickly. The man told him that it was very dangerous there. Wang Yen stood in front of the Cyclops and the horde of goblins, and the man said that the monsters are approaching. Let them run quickly. Wang Yen rushed forward and told them to come here. He used the ghost skill and easily cut down the small goblins. As he expected, the ghost skill is perfect for an assassin. He told the Cyclops that his goblin minions were cowards. The goblins were afraid of their impending death, and other players attacked the Cyclops, saying that this was a great opportunity. Now they will kill the Cyclops. But suddenly the Cyclops waved his weapon, and they asked what kind of skill this was. They fell to the ground, and one of them asked, did they still fail? It will be difficult for them to find another opportunity to attack. Wang Yen asked another one. They are just toys for the Cyclops. He attacked the Cyclops and said that they gave him the opportunity. Blue blood sprayed out from the Cyclops, and a squad of players began to rise from ground. The girl picked up the commander and asked if he was okay. The guy asked, did he see someone hurt the Cyclops? The other guy asked who it was. One of them said to look ahead, and the commander said that it was incredible someone could fight a Cyclops alone. They began to watch as Wang Yen expertly attacked the Cyclops. Wang Yen thought that defense is one of the high characteristics of the giant race. With a difference of 10 levels, it is almost impossible to cause damage. Apparently, he only needs to hit the weak points. The Cyclops swung, but Wang Yen jumped and the girl asked in admiration, is he a professional assassin? The guy replied, maybe he is an assassin, but why is there such a big difference? They continued to watch their fight and scream for him to kill the Cyclops. Cyclops noticed them and they fell silent. Wang Yen said that it was better for them not to interfere. Let them run away. Quickly, they didn't listen to him and ran away, saying that they were leaving the Cyclops to him. Cyclops and Wang Yen froze in anticipation, but Cyclops decided to act first and accumulated powerful energy in his mouth. Wang Yen said that a flock of sheep will not harm a wolf, but a wolf alone will be so bold that it can fight a lion. He can try his new continuous hitting skill. He will give them a surprise. He began to strike the monster numerous and quickly using the continuous strike skill, which causes enormous damage by delivering continuous strikes, each strike dealing a certain amount of damage that has no size limit. Cyclops attacked him using the explosive strike skill. With the skill, Cyclops holds a mace tightly and deals 200% damage in an area, throwing the player back. Wang Yen said that it was his turn now. He has already become the target of the One-Eyed Hunter. It might just let go. He struck the Cyclops with blows and said that now the moment has come. He dealt a fifth blow to the Cyclops, and the effect of the cold poison skill was activated. An explosion occurred and the dead Wang Yin warriors attacked the Cyclops, after which the system window reported that he had defeated the Cyclops. He received the title Fearless. The owner of this title receives immunity to any fear skill during a battle with representative of Times and Giants. The enemy's defense is reduced by 25%. The Undead Zone is a special place for necromancers filled with the aura of death. This is a special place where necromancers can store undead warriors. Only necromancers and undead warriors can enter this area. He looked around and thought, should the people have already left, then he will try this ability. He summoned an undead gate to absorb the souls of his enemies. There's a 50% chance of turning an undead warrior and a 50% chance of moving into an undead zone. There's a 100% chance of turning an undead warrior upon first use. He closed the gate of the undead and wondered if only he could enter. He said it was wonderful. He did not notice that monsters had appeared behind him, but some guy called out to him in time, and he turned around. He asked what was going on. Where did he come from here? The guy attacked the monsters, and Wang Yin saw his characteristics. He's a level 5 mage fighting 2 level 7 trolls with a street lamp. Is he really a magician? He looks more like a berserker. The magician scattered all the monsters, and Wang Yin said that it seems that he has become stronger. It's so cool to fight without skills. The guy said it was a great job. Wang Yin told him that he was also a professional. He was able to deal with 2 trolls with a lantern in his hands. This is amazing. The guy said that the poor Taoist was born with brute strength, and he would win any prize. Suddenly Wang Yin noticed something to the side and looked there. He saw many monsters, and the system window reported that unknown creatures had appeared. The danger level increases. The barrier is destroyed, and a restoration attempt begins. The Lord of Despair Disper has descended to Earth. Eternal darkness is downloaded onto the Earth. The data census begins. 13% loaded. The creation of eternal darkness is loading. Wang Yin called out to Disper and said that it was him. The system window advised him to immediately move to the safe zone. The Taoist asked, what is this? Wang Yin grabbed him by the clothes and said that they had better go. They couldn't handle him. The guy asked, isn't that too much? The monsters attacked them, and Wang Yin told him to be careful. Suddenly a truck crashed into the monster, and they turned around. He saw a man in the driver's seat and asked him to leave. The man waved his hand and looked at the bomb in his hands. He told them that he still had work to do, and his mission was to ensure their safety. Let them live happily. The truck exploded, and Wang Yin called out to him worriedly, but they collected their thoughts and ran away from the explosion. The Taoist told him that he had a plan. He grabbed him by the arm and began to spin him around. Wang Yin asked what he was doing. The Taoist let go of his hand and threw him aside, saying that let him go and he'll figure it out himself. He saw Wang Yin flying straight towards the explosion and said that he accidentally turned 180 degrees. 360 degrees is in front of him and 180 behind him. Looks like he screwed up again. He said that now he will save him. Wang Yin fell down and shouted that he was an idiot. Now, all he can do is try to use his skill. He opened the gate of death, and the system window reported that the gate of death is open. 10 ghostly lights are spent for each use. A death gate appeared under Wang Yin, and the system window reported that the undead field is a special land for the undead, where the souls of the dead rest. The will of this special place is under control of the Necromancer, and all the souls in the undead field are under his control. Wang Yin said that ordinary fog can hide the gates of death. He called the Cyclops, and the huge skeleton said that he was at his service. Wang Yin landed on the Cyclops' bony hand and told him to get ready. Cyclops used an explosive blow and pushed Wang Yin forward. He flew forward and said that it was dangerous. It's good that he got out. The system window reported that the Necromancer had left the gate of death. The maximum time had been exceeded. The gate of death was closed. The Taoist saw Wang Yin flying and said that he had made it out. How did he do it? He asked him to wait and ran after him. Wang Yin flew towards Jiahua department store and said that he had flown so far. He stuck the dagger into the window and pierced it with his body. He landed inside the room, then shook himself off the debris and said that it was relatively safe here. But why did he feel like he had forgotten something? Suddenly, the Taoist broke the window and flew into the room. Wang Yin thought, where did he come from here? He asked how he got here. The Taoist shook himself off the splinters and replied that he just jumped in here. Wang Yin said that this is the 3rd floor. Suddenly, a monster appeared outside the window, and Wang Yin raised his finger to his lips and said to be quiet. The Taoist asked in a whisper, "Where are they going now?" "It's too dangerous outside." Wang Yen replied that they needed to get into the basement. This building was converted from a shelter, so it should be safe there. He crawled forward and said that they would go through the emergency entrance. The Taoist agreed and said that then he would be the first. They went downstairs and threw a soda can to distract the goblins. The monster started playing with the jar, and Wang Yen said that they need to act. The two of them killed the goblins, and the Taoist dealt the final blow to the goblin's head. He said it was strange why there were no other monsters here, only these green gnomes. Wang Yen came down the stairs and said that these are goblins compared to other monsters. They are similar in size to them, but it's really strange that they didn't meet anyone else. For safety reasons, they better hide if they stumble upon a monster above level 50. Then they are finished. They reached the huge doors, and Wang Yen said that it should be here. The Taoist examined the doors and said that it seemed that one could hide here. They started pushing the door, and he asked why the iron door was so heavy. Wang Yen told him to put in more effort, after which they opened the door and went inside. At this time, in another place, the military was observing the entire situation. The soldier called out to commander and said that the interference barrier lasted 12 hours and disappeared. All the satellites stopped working. Their repair teams had already set off to repair the communication network, according to information received from outside the base. The situation is not very optimistic. The problem is comparable to a world war. The commander slammed his fist on the railing and asked, "Is there any connection?" This barrier kept him at the base for 12 hours. Let him give the order. All troops need to expect mobilization. They need to strengthen their territories as soon as possible. Let them bring military tents from warehouses and provide everyone with temporary housing. The soldier asked if there was enough space at the base. Their area is home to about 100 million people. The commander replied that this should be enough. Let them take everything. From Warehouse 81, the soldier said that Warehouse 81 stores all the resources that they have collected for 50 years, for emergencies such as war. The commander said that all this belongs to the citizens, so it should be used for their benefit. If you don't use it now, then when? Let him write the order, and he will sign everything. The soldier saluted the commander and obeyed the order. The commander looked at the statistics on the big screen and wondered what they were dealing with this time. At this time, in the shelter, Wang Yen found the phone and said that it was difficult for him to get it. He didn't expect a warning to appear on the lock screen. It seems to him that the noise outside has died down